And starting. All right. Hey guys, how you doing? It's your man Tim Black. You're here for another edition of No Sellouts, and I'd like to welcome back my friend H.A. Goodman in the house.
Thank you, Tim.
Man, H.A.
Thank you.
What up, brother? How you doing, man?
It's always a pleasure to be here, Tim. You're awesome, and I mean, you did so much for Tim Canova. And I hope he wins. It's coming up. Yeah. And you did. How was the Canova-thon?
Dude, it was crazy, man. Like Jordan, your boy Jordan, man, your guy Jordan came through, man, and set it off. He was my first guest, man. He's really legit, brother.
He is definitely. He's awesome. He is one of the few real reporters out there.
Man, yeah, he was a brother.
He goes after it. You know?
Oh, yeah, no BS, man. Just told it, just said, like, you know, hey, this is what I saw, you know, and it's got that New York thing going for him, you know, it's like, you know, this is what happened, and, you know, it's really, hey, look, you know, if you're asking me, this is what I think, and it was cool, brother. It was real cool, man, and it was a lot of fun, too. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It was a lot of fun for, and Tim Canova came through, too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Very good. You know what I mean? So yeah, I hope to have it broken up into pieces because it was 3 hours long, brother, and that's a long time to watch a video.
Well, and you know what though? You're doing something that's making a positive structural change. Oh. You know, what you're doing, Tim, is you're saying, because there are people who are fakes and phonies. We know who they are. Okay, they're phonies. Yeah. And they don't even really. They like to get the votes, but they don't want to make real change. All they want to do is just basically say, yeah, you know, this sounds good, or I'll pander to this element or that element, but I'm not going to really make. And what you did for Tim Canova is fantastic. We need structural change. That's why I love Jill Stein. That's why I love Bernie Sanders.
No
although,
doubt.
You know.
No doubt, man. Yeah, man. It was fantastic, man. And you know, it's like a lot of progressives, like everyone, man, like Claudia Stuber, Portia Boger, Misty Plowright, who's running out there in Colorado, man. We just had a lot of people come through, you know. Anoa Changa came through, Michael Salomon. It was a lot of fun, man. I know I'm leaving a couple people out, but it was all love. Lee Camp was supposed to come through, but he had to go do a gig in Chicago. So he sent a little video clip letting everybody know his love was there. So, you know, man, it was great, man. Progressives put it down, man. So, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, but so, man, what's on? So what did we miss last week, man? I mean, you know, because we were, you know.
Well, you know, let me tell you. So let me get your viewpoint. And this is a topic that's already catching fire. It's Colin Kaepernick, who is, you know, NFL quarterback for the 49ers.
Right.
He was an excellent quarterback, got hurt. But he's not standing up for the national during the national anthem to protest, police violence against unarmed black citizens.
Right.
And
yeah, man.
I put out a tweet today, just said, God bless Colin Kaepernick for standing up, you know, for taking action. And I said, more people outraged over this than us sending Americans to Syria. We have American ground troops, American soldiers in Syria, you know, and we have Americans still in Afghanistan, thousands of Americans in Iraq.
Right.
We have American ground troops now in Syria.
Absolutely.
And so the thing is, my take on Colin Kaepernick is that it's obviously him not standing up during the national anthem definitely is a provocative thing, and I can totally understand for people who lost family members in Iraq or Afghanistan. They might say, hey, this is disrespectful, and that's not like something I can understand that vantage point completely. But if you are just like if you don't have any direct connection and you're just saying, oh well, that's a bad move and he shouldn't do that, I think that there's in our country, unfortunately, there's this bizarre warped hierarchy of outrage. And so
right.
And so people get outraged over, and it's look, when I go to the anywhere, if there's a national anthem, I stand up. But he is not standing to shed light on a very tragic issue that nobody seems to have an answer for.
Right.
So there's no pressing, there's nobody like, there's no pressing need, unfortunately, in government. You don't hear Hillary Clinton, or you definitely don't hear Donald Trump, but you don't hear politicians saying, hey, we got to fix this now. We got to make sure that, you don't hear that. So he's putting a kind of like a fire on that topic, and he's using his celebrity status. And I don't know many athletes that are doing that. What do you think about that, Tim?
Man, that was crazy, man. You said a lot though, HA, man, and I'm glad to see you. Like, people thinking, you just Hillary, but you on top of other issues too, man. It's good, man. I think it's great for our show and what we're doing, man. We speak out on all types of stuff, and I got a couple things about it. Like, one is, some people are trying to make this a black-white issue. It's not a black-white issue, Colin Kaepernick is from a white family. This guy, he has a white mom and he had a black dad. They put him up for adoption. He got adopted by a white family in Wisconsin. He grew up pretty privileged, like really nice life, but he recognizes what's going on in society. Like, he's just got a problem with it. And for real, it's not that big a deal. Look, HA, my mom is a Jehovah's Witness. So I was raised as Jehovah's Witness, and when I was in school, I'm so old that when I was in elementary, we used to have to salute the flag. Well, I couldn't because I was a Jehovah's Witness. And I remember not standing for the saluting of the flag. It was never a big deal. Like, I felt stupid. I felt odd, like everyone else is standing, Plus, besides no Christmas, no birthday, no Valentine. But, when I moved out, I got away from that. But what I'm saying is, people making this seem like this is I'm glad he did it. He did it to shed light on an issue that he cares about.
Exactly.
But for real, like all these other things that are going on, people should be standing up and protesting a lot of shit. Like, there's a lot for us to be protesting, from the EpiPen, the price increase on the EpiPen, the Coda access pipeline. If people were really tuned into what's happening in our world, man, they would be more pissed off. But instead, we got these people who who are confused. They think if you protest, you don't love the country. I look at it the other way, brother. I look at it like, if you protest, you want to fix something so you can love the country more, or so that the country can be a better country. We all have relationships where we have to say, hey, like my son, he just started college at Morgan State University. Before he left, I might have to, correct him on something like, hey, man, what's up with the trash? Like, I might have to, have to bring up an issue we need to resolve. Like, why does your room look like hell? Like, why does it look like a tornado hit you? And it wasn't because I didn't love him. It's because I did love him. I wanted him to be a better young man. Right. Yeah. So I look at it the same way. When you say, hey, I don't like what's happening with our police, where they're not being charged and having to go to court after killing people, planting evidence or whatever. Or if you're talking about Dakota Pipeline, or if you're talking about any of the number of issues that could concern you from our environment. We got freaking polar bears wearing suntan lotion. That's not right.
You don't want that, Tim.
It's a lot of things that are screwed up, man. So I respect Colin Kaepernick, man, and I don't think it means he doesn't like veterans.
No.
Who doesn't like veterans? Americans. Look, our government doesn't like veterans, because if they love veterans, they wouldn't make so many of them.
Exactly. And they wouldn't send so many people to war. And it's like, two things regarding the Colin Kaepernick protest. There was this, I think it was in Georgia, where the police came into a house. I think it was the wrong house, if I'm not mistaken. And they threw a flash grenade in, and it burnt. And he threw it, and it was I think either right next to the crib, and it burnt part of the little kid's face. And there was no indictment. And so the thing is, it's like, you can't go ahead. You can't live in a society where, oh, sorry, sorry about that. That's not what, and especially if you're an unarmed human being, unarmed citizen,
right?
And if you're an unarmed black citizen, it's happening all the time. Somebody needs to kind of put
Look, man,
wider publicity,
but more than that, HA, it's just your right, brother, to
Yes, you're right.
protest. You know, if you know, like you say, you know, don't protest and burn down shit. Okay. Then when people protest and they don't burn down stuff, you don't got a right to protest that. Like, no, that's exactly America was built on protesting. We protested to break from England. Exactly. But we did it with guns.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? When we poured the tea out, that was against the rules, homie. Like, that's what America's built on. But, man, it's like, look, man, I'll let you have the last word on this subject. All I can say is, hey, man, if you believe in something enough where you can lose your job and you're willing to lose your endorsements, I think people should give you the benefit of the doubt and say, you know what? Let the man have his say.
Exactly.
He's the one who's got to deal with that. Yeah.
You know, I look at it this way. How many high-profile people, athletes, are really sticking their neck out for social causes? And it's not like you said, he is not doing this to insult veterans. He is not doing this. Like, the biggest insult to veterans, like you said, is voting for somebody that you know is going to send more Americans back to the same wars that did not turn out well for the country or for the world.
Right.
But the thing is it's like what Colin Kaepernick did. I applaud him because not because I don't want his actions to offend anybody who lost somebody in war. That's not why I would applaud him. I applaud him because he is shedding light onto a very, very serious topic that unfortunately a great part of the country, maybe half the country, doesn't even think is an important topic.
There you go.
So that's why, you know, I do applaud him for that. And I mean, like, there's not many like Jim Browns or Muhammad Ali's in the world, you know, man. Or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like, there's not many that will do that. Or, I mean, could you imagine an athlete like Muhammad Ali, like three years just because his principle? That's like 3 of his prime years of his athletic career. Yeah. It just doesn't happen anymore. So
no, man, it's crazy, man. So you know, I feel you. What do you think about the Dakota Access Pipeline, man? I mean, I had some folks call in on the show. We did a show about it. One of my guys, 64 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, Justin, he went down and covered it for me in D.C. when they went to court. And look, man, I mean, I look at it like it's a travesty that we don't honor our treaties. Like, we give people, you know, we say, okay, this is your land. First we genocide them.
Yeah.
and then we say, okay, well, here goes a little bit of land for you. And then we find out there was like oil on the land we were going to give them. Then we say, no, you can't be there. We got to move you. And then now, every time when we decide, we just take over the land we gave them, and they're supposed to shut up about it. And if they complain, we say, see, these rude Native Americans, they're so picky. They're tree huggers. You know, when they just want their water to be, you know, able to drink.
And the Missouri River is going to be polluted because oil pipelines, there's always a spill.
Say that again, HA. Say that again.
Oil pipelines, always a spill. So it's not if, it's when.
Like a drunk at a bar mitzvah.
Exactly. Exactly. Like me at a bar mitzvah. And so, you know, there's always, when you have the Standing Rock Sioux protesting, they're protesting like they're actually their lives are at stake, because you have, first of all, they had a victory, and it's only temporary because we know Keystone XL, they're trying to eventually come back. So, and this pipeline is right next to the Keystone XL pipeline. So it's like, it's just constant. And, you know, it's going from North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, into Illinois. And it's a matter of not just the Missouri River, but in terms of the groundwater, in terms of the reservoirs, the oil seeps through, you're screwed there. So, and it's like a generational thing. You have all this oil that is like you're decades and decades of, you know, toxic water or you know, undrinkable water, and you know, you can't farm there. So it's something that, you know, when I look at Jill Stein, I look at Bernie Sanders, and then I look at the person who shall not be named until later, in this segment. And so, and you know, because I wanna seem like a well-rounded individual, you know.
Right.
But
Oh, that witch! I don't want to get it though.
On a side note, before Bernie came in, and before like I had this whole thing with like you know who, I was talking about counterinsurgency wars. I was writing about them. I'm against counterinsurgency wars. I'm against wars where we're sending soldiers to fight insurgents in apartment buildings. That's not what our.
That's not what we're supposed to do, right? That's what is that guerrilla warfare? That's
guerrilla
like,
warfare.
That's people dealing with their own ish. You know, that's not. Yeah,
exactly. And there's in the U.S. Army counterinsurgency manual. It says the only way the best way to fight this war is to get the hearts and minds of the local population, so that they agree with you. Only problem is, which is what we experienced in Vietnam, and we experienced in Iraq and Afghanistan. And of course, we don't know the post-Assad plan. So President Obama and Clinton, everybody says, well, we got to get Assad out. Well, what's the post-Assad plan? Is it going to be like Libya? Is it going to be like complete chaos and civil war? There's already chaos and civil war there.
Yes.
The thing is, I was writing about that and writing about a whole bunch of issues. So it wasn't like, and I was published over 100 times in the Huffington Post before the election with Bernie. But I just think that, you know, when you look at Jill Stein and Bernie Sanders, who's addressing structural issues, like actually saying, hey, we got to go ahead and we got to convert to green energy or make a massive change to our fossil fuels. We go from fossil fuels to sustainable development and green energy in 30 years, 20 years.
Obama was talking about it, but then I guess he got a little sidetracked, didn't he?
Well, he got elected.
Then he had to pay back those favors that got him elected.
That was the sidetrack. He got elected. And so, you know, a little minor sidetrack. But, you know, I mean, you know, the thing is like, and that's why, like, whatever, progressives, I don't even know what I am anymore. Progressive, person to the left of center, I don't know. But it's like, you tell a quote unquote progressive, yeah, we'll do that for you. Yeah. But if you have power, that's what a lot of people look at. Like, well, you know, we only have two choices. And, oh man, I got to hold my nose. And they just like President Obama. Well, with Keystone XL, he actually did veto it. So that was good. With Keystone XL, he vetoed Keystone XL. But in terms of like the TPP or fracking or Keystone XL, Clinton is for all three. So, and Tim Kaine is like way for all three. Like, you know, Tim Kaine is like, doesn't even pretend. Like, he's like, whatever, I'm for it, you know. But I just think that when you look at what the Native Americans are going through right now, the Sioux tribe in North Dakota, it's 2016. Like we shouldn't be dealing with this at this stage in our history.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, my understanding is they wanted to put that pipeline somewhere else. I think it was, Bismarck, North Dakota. And the people of Bismarck pushed back, so they said, "Okay, we're not going to run it through Bismarck. Let's just run it through here. Let's just run it through this reservation area. Let's just run it through their land instead, because no one wants pipelines in their area."
Wants pipelines. And I mean, you know what? It's like living next to a major power line, or like you don't want that. There's a cancer risk there. I mean, you live like 1,000 feet from a pipeline. You don't know whether it's the fumes, or you don't know if there's if some oil seeping into the ground, or you're screwed if there's an oil leak. That's it, like game over. So,
and you know how well America loves cleaning up its messes, man. Look at us. We do. We still haven't cleaned up Flint. We still have Exxon Mobil cleaning up crap they did. Was it Exxon Valdez spill?
Yeah.
They're still dealing with that fallout from that. I mean, we do not. We love making messes, but we don't like cleaning them up because it costs money and it takes a lot of time.
Well, and you know what? This goes back to the money in politics. The average citizen doesn't have $1 million, $2 million to give to the Clinton Foundation or give to a politician. and say, I can't go to a politician and say, you know what, I'm gonna hook you up for your campaign. You just got to listen to me. You got to listen to me now. And
oh yeah, that's the thing. I also wanted to bring that up, man. Uma. So they're once again in the world of distraction, right? They're making the Uma issue with Anthony Weiner like that's news. Like he got caught texting. Oh no, he's texting. He's sexting, dude. But they won't talk about the Clinton Foundation pay for play. But they'll talk about this crap.
Exactly. Well, it's unfortunate because he has to stop sometime. But it's I feel bad for the guy.
Divorce the guy or deal with it, man.
Yeah.
It's not our business. It's like
it's definitely not.
I don't care, dude. Like if you wanna, I don't care what he does. Like I don't even want to get into the particulars of it. But it's lame. It's an insult that they're even talking about.
Yeah, it's like this. He goes ahead and texts. Well, I don't know what was he naked this time or was it what was going on?
I don't know. They say he's sitting next to his daughter or his son or something on the bed, and he's texting something. It's like I don't know, man. I don't even want to know about it.
And the thing is, people take that's more interesting to a lot of people than 85 Clinton Foundation donors giving $156 million. I don't know if you know who he's an awesome writer. His name is Walker Bragman, and he's a buddy of mine, and I'll send you some of his work. He's really great. And he came out with an article in Paste magazine. I shared it on Twitter, and he kind of he's received the same amount of heat the same kind of heat that I have this election because he was hardcore Bernie Sanders. And hardcore in terms of structural change, and
sellout. Right.
No sellouts with Walker Bragman. So he's awesome, right? And all the quote unquote progressive publications, they either saying, they're just trying to, undermine because they can't say, oh yeah, Clinton is good for structural issues. They can't say that, so they have to go ad hominem attacks. They attack me, they attack Walker Bragman. I'm sure, I know you've received attacks on Twitter. I know everybody that we hang out with or talk to has received the attack. So how dare you? You're helping Trump, all that stuff.
Right. And any criticism is helpful. Is helping Trump always. Any
criticism is helpful Trump. So let the people we know hurt us, as opposed to the people we don't know or the people on the other side of the aisle. We can't let them hurt us. We have to let the people we know hurt us. That's the mentality. But Walker Bragman, great writer, he came out with an article in Paste, and he completely destroyed Vox's attempt to undermine the AP article. So the AP, this is why we live in like 1984, like George Orwell's 1984 okay?
Wow.
So the Associated Press comes out with a great report. A report, basically, this is what they said. 85 Clinton Foundation donors gave a total of $156 effing million to the Clinton Foundation, and they happened to then get access to Hillary Clinton, the nation's Secretary of State. Now, these 85 people, the AP said it was 85 out of 156 who were not either scheduled or outside government or something to do with Clinton's schedule, not necessarily part of official business. Okay. The defenders of Clinton say, no, the AP was sloppy. It was really 85 out of 1,000 people. When you look at it, it's really 85 people out of 1,000 something, and it really wasn't that bad. They never bring up the $156 million. That's the issue. I don't care if it's 85 out of 30 million. She could have met with 50 million people. If 85 give $156 million.
Right. The money aspect.
That's the money aspect. Right. And it's in other countries that's called graft, bribery. Okay. In our country, it's called, well, what's the problem? It's just it's a normal thing.
Same thing with our elections. With the ex-polls being off. It's like any other country. This is what the sheep don't get. If the identical thing would have happened in Switzerland, we would have been talking about it and saying, "Yep, they got a rigged election in Switzerland. Oh, their prime minister's on the take. This is what's going on." But since it happens in America, you are duped into thinking, "Oh, bad Russians are making us look bad. It's a conspiracy," and you buy it. You actually buy it.
You know what's funny? I told you I sent you a message. I said, "Damn, I thought my fucking Twitter account was hacked or something."
Yeah, what's up with that, man? Yeah,
in my head, I said Vladimir Putin, Russians.
It had to be Vladimir, right?
Over my account, the Russians.
Yeah, the Russians.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's the thing. I mean, like the Democrats, the establishment Democrats think we're still in the 50s. It's still like, you know, the height of the 50s and 60s, the height of the Cold War, and it was Red Scare, and we have to fear this. We don't want, if you're smart, you don't want another Cold War with Russia. And the thing is, my whole thing with that is Clinton campaign hacked, her server no doubt was hacked, the DNC was hacked, the foundation was hacked. All apparently Russian. So they have her password. So it's either they have her password where they could just log on like they're just, it's like their computer, you know, or there's a mole. There's moles within the DNC or her campaign working to undermine her. But that whole thing is like, but see, like my buddy Walker Bragman, he wrote an article today in Paste magazine, basically explaining how Vox and every other establishment publication will do everything possible to ignore the fact that $156 million was given to the American Secretary of State. So you can't run an election, or you can't become Secretary of State if you're accepting influence or money and granting access. That's the thing. You wouldn't meet with somebody you don't want to meet. Let's say, like, you know, if they gave you $100 million, would you meet that person? If they gave you $1 million, would you meet that person? You know, if it was just like a friend of a friend's. Right. You're like, I don't really want to meet that person, but you know what? For $100,000, yeah, I'll have lunch. You know, so that's the way this system operates.
My thing is, you shouldn't even have the appearance of any type of impropriety. No one should be, you know, you should want to keep things unquestionable. You know, you don't want people to even have the hint, and you know, that you could be compromised. I mean, you know, you're the freaking Secretary of State. You know, you're supposed to stay away from any type of scandal. And just the fact, HA, that now they say, well, you know, if she becomes president, we're going to, you know, we won't let that happen again, because you're right. That's got a point.
Bill Clinton said, we're not going to do it. We did nothing. This is Bill Clinton. We did nothing wrong, but we're not going to, but if she's president, we won't continue to do, we won't continue to do what we don't think was wrong in the first place. So he said, and they're not going to accept money. But I'll take it one step further. What's Hillary Clinton's take on the pipeline in North Dakota that the Standing Rock Sioux are protesting?
I have no idea. Does she have she's probably for against it. She's for against it. She was for it, now she's against it. She's against it, now she's for it. You know, it's one of those with her.
She's for against.
For against.
And that might change tomorrow to against for.
That's right. It all depends on the way that the testers go. You know, she has the poll analysis done, and public relations, brother, public relations.
And that's the thing. I mean, she has so many publications that, I mean, if she could go in and
damn it, man, Bernie should have won the nomination, and now Bernie's starting the Our Revolution. Have you taken a look at what's going on? I see a couple people pissed off at Bernie again. Like, damn it, Bernie. We hate Jeff. Like, why do people hate Jeff so much? What's up with Jeff Weaver? What's up with the Our Revolution?
You know, Tim, I love Bernie Sanders. It's difficult though to when you go to the dark side, when you go to the, like, you know, you're hanging out with Darth Vader.
Come to the dark side, Bernie.
when you endorse Clinton, it's like, you know, hanging out with Darth Vader, or, you know, doing something that, because that whole movement was, hey, let's stick it to the system. Let's change structurally. Let's go ahead and change this for future generations. That's what I was thinking too. That's what a lot of most Bernie supporters, I know you were too. Let's make sure that we don't have another financial collapse. Let's reinstate Glass-Steagall. Let's break up the banks. Let's make sure there's no fracking. Let's make sure that we, you know, end private prisons and, you know, fix these, you know, serious racial problems.
Right.
You know, all these things. Stop these perpetual wars where we just send Americans off. And he was cheated. So 5 DNC officials resigned. WikiLeaks showed that he was cheated.
Right.
That DNC was never impartial.
Never.
And then he did something that he said he was going to do from the start. He endorsed Hillary Clinton, and that kind of took the win. It's kind of like a body blow, and just took.
I mean, dude, I get it, and I do. I respect the fact that people feel that way. I feel that way, but I also feel like, you know what? This is never hinged on just Bernie Sanders.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And like, we have to move on. We have to, the focus of looking down the ticket. That's why I've had so many different progressives on my show, from Ben Bow Win to Misty Plowright to just several different. I've got a couple more coming up this week. I mean, we have to support the down ticket folks like Tim Canova, like there's so many, Alan Grayson, because they matter. Like, so, and I understand, don't get me wrong, I understand the apprehension, but on the OurRevolution.com website, man, there are 100 different progressives that we can help. And if we were able to flip that shit, dude, we wouldn't care about Clinton or Trump.
Exactly.
I mean, of course, I'm back in jail, so it don't really matter about those guys anyway.
And that's the thing. And you know what? With the Our Revolution or Green Party, the people say, and this is like a Twitter thing, people say, oh, well, how many senators are from the Green Party? And then they say, I guess none, I guess that. And the thing is... Who says
that?
Yeah, well, this is on Twitter, right? The whole point, though, is that if you're voting for down-ticket candidates,
right,
the down-ticket candidate should be linked to your value system. So there are Democrats who are basically Republicans on war. Republicans on Wall Street.
That's it, brother.
And so the thing is, it's not about the D or the R. It's about, hey, wait a second now. What is your value system? So, you definitely you want to be able to vote and not change your political affiliation if you are in a state that you have to, Democratic Party's like 5 months before you have to make sure that you're a Democrat.
Right.
That type of thing.
I get you.
But I mean, like you said, Bernie Sanders started something very special, or he helped, bring awareness to something that was already there, but now he helped grow it.
Man, it's just the power of the internet, man. I think like I brought up several times during the show, it's like, I did not know in 2008 what I know in 2016. Like, I didn't know about super predators in 2008. I should have known about that. Like, that should have been common knowledge. We didn't know about it. We didn't know about the effects, the actual effects, until Michelle Alexander put out the new Jim Crow. I didn't know the actual effects of the drug war, like, to that extent, to welfare reform to that extent. So I think media has to play a huge part in letting people know what's going on in this world, what's happening in our government, what the issues are, and hold people accountable. But that being said, man, I'm looking forward to us dismantling the system, even though Bernie is doing Bernie. Like, I still think we can do this. I believe that. And I know you agree. I know you feel the same way.
I agree.
I just want everybody watching to know it's not over unless you want it to be over, and unless things have changed since before we did this show. We still got stuff to fight. Yeah, there you go, HM. We still got reasons to fight. Go ahead, brother.
No, not only is it not over, like what you're doing, it's just beginning. So when I came out with an article today in the Huffington Post, 10 reasons, why I would vote for Jill Stein, right? They called me, the Huffington Post said I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet. So
I think you are, brother.
Thanks,
no doubt, brother.
Thank you. But it was 10 reasons why, I'm going to vote for Jill Stein. And I've been writing about Jill Stein now and Ajamu Baraka, because I think that they are, when people say, well, she can't win. And then they're like, oh, well, that's the, and they say they like revel and hide behind that Twitter kind of social media thing. Like, I got you in one line sentence. I know you're burned now. But it's like, well, what's pragmatic? A person who has 1 foot in the jail cell and 1 foot in the Oval Office, like Clinton, where she's always getting investigated and nobody's trusting her, and she makes horrible decisions, or a person like Jill Stein, Ajamu Baraka, Bernie Sanders, Tim Canova, Alan Grayson. These people are genuine people, number one. And they have, if you want to use the word progressive, whatever, they have a value system. So they will take the heat to represent for what they believe in. That's why when you go back to like Colin Kaepernick, you know, I mean, I always stand up for the national anthem, but he is taking the heat and he's doing something, and he's experiencing repercussions, but he's doing it for a noble cause, to bring, you know, shed light upon a tragedy that's ongoing.
Absolutely, brother.
Bernie Sanders took on the whole media, the DNC, all these quote-unquote fake, phony progressive publications, these fakes, these phonies, that they try to hurt him and undermine him every single step of the way. Same thing they did to Bernie, they're doing to Jill Stein now. Because the thing is, the structural elements, like whether it's Vox or the New York Times or the Washington Post or Slate or TPM or the Daily Beast, all these are public relations firms. So the public relations firms for Hillary Clinton or for the establishment Democrats, they're not that different from Republicans. They don't want to address structural greed. They don't want to break up the banks.
Status quo. They want things to stay the same, keep the money rolling in. Right?
And they want to go ahead, and it's easy to make fun of Trump, right? It's easy to make fun of Donald Trump, and there's a lot to make fun of. Okay, he says a lot of stupid things.
Yeah, he does.
Right? Yeah, and the thing is, like, he's a buffoon, and he shouldn't be anywhere near the White House.
Yeah, it's just beautiful how he goes to all white audiences and talks about black people. It's so amazing. I just love that way he does that all the time. It's like, I'm trying to help you, black folks. Let me talk to the white people about you. What is wrong with this guy? But you know, like, I don't waste a lot of time on Trump just because.
That's my point. Because the thing is, like, I live in Los Angeles, okay, and unfortunately, we have a lot of homeless people. And, you know, the homeless people, and unfortunately, a lot of these people have, you know, certain issues where they're walking down the street and they're like, they're like talking to themselves or yelling. I don't go and I don't look at that person and I don't spend time like, so what's wrong with that person? That person's really crazy. That person has serious issues, okay? Like,
you equate Trump to somebody with a psychological disorder, maybe a mental disorder.
Well, I was saying Donald Trump has serious. You know, his whole thing is like he has serious issues, and he can't stop. He can't stop himself. So people say, look at Trump, we're so much better. It's like, no, you're not. You're not that much better. You think you're better because you think you're different, and you might be a little bit, but on the structural issues, whether it's breaking up too big to fail banks, or whether it's you know, taking a stand against perpetual wars, or whether it's backing up Colin Kaepernick to make sure that, you know, hey, you know, his voice is heard about a big issue, or whether it's some big grandiose issue.
You know what we have never talked about, HA, and I'm seeing how much time we got. We got a few minutes. I gotta let me slide this in just in case we got some libertarians watching. Do you have an opinion about Alan Grayson?
You mean Gary Johnson?
Oh, Gary Johnson. My bad. Not damn. My bad. Yeah, Gary Johnson. That's his name. You know, the other one.
This is the thing. You know, Gary Johnson. You know, the thing is, like, a lot of people. I told you I did my Reddit AMA.
Yeah, man. I couldn't believe I missed that.
It was a travesty. But you know, it was fun. It was fun though. Like, the people at Reddit were really cool. And, you know, I think Correct the Record was like, he's on. H.A. Goodman is on. Go.
Damn.
So, yeah, they're like, how come you're such an asshole? And I was just, I got them, like, as much as I could, like, left and right, you know. I was putting links, too. Like, I was citing things. I have this and another thing. But, like, they don't even care. Like, a lot of it, they just wanted to harass or whatever. It was cool though. There was some nice people, but my articles were upvoted many, many times on Reddit. But the thing is, like, thousands of times. But one big knock on me on Reddit, or people who think that I'm like out there, is that, well, you wrote that article on Rand Paul. And the only reason I wrote that article on Rand Paul, and it kind of correlates to Gary Johnson, the libertarian philosophy is, it kind of meets progressives on war and foreign policy. They're against perpetual wars, and they're also against an overreaching security surveillance state. So, and that's also a progressive thing too. So ideologically, libertarians, and so, but obviously, like, in terms of social services, they want to, like, you know, they're not for that. So
it's man on Social Security, yada yada. Right.
In terms of the economic aspects, different. But even then, I mean, I'm not sure about their stance on breaking up banks. But in terms of war and foreign policy,
he's for the TPP, from what I understand. Like which is a big turnoff, brother.
It's a big turnoff. I mean, I would vote Jill Stein. I'm not a libertarian. A lot of people think I am, but I'm not a libertarian. But if you are a libertarian, vote Gary Johnson. If you are a real progressive, vote Jill Stein.
Right.
My whole thing is this: we'll survive 4 years of Trump. I mean, people think like 4 years of Trump, and then we'll all be dead, and there will be no more country, no more planet, and we'll survive 4 years. And guess what? If he's so horrible, we'll get 8 years of a Democrat or Green Party, or definitely a progressive. Like, we will shift towards where we want the structural change, everything. 4 years of Hillary Clinton.
Why can't people see why they can't see the logic in this? Like we say it and it goes over their heads, man.
Well, because the thing is, in our society, if even 8 years ago is like ancient history. Like, if a lot of time, okay, I have to ask you a question, Tim. This is something that I'm getting from white people who are Democrats, white Democrats, and I'm white, and we're debating, and I just stopped the debate because I'm like, you know what, this is lame. I want to get your thought on this. I go ahead and I send, I say that Clinton used racism against Barack Obama. They're like, no, she didn't. Then I send the article, a 3 a.m. ad from Orlando Patterson. I send the Guardian article where she sent a photo of Barack Obama in African attire to use Islamophobia. Whole bunch of other, the strategist, Clinton strategist, actually said, hey, this is what you should do. Paint him as somebody who's the other, un-American. Right. So all these things. And they come back to me, Tim, and they say, well, Obama didn't care. He hired her as Secretary of State. So obviously he cares. Why do you? That? And that's kind of disgusting, isn't it? Like,
it is disgusting, yeah. Also, if Obama gives you a pass, we're not supposed to be offended by it. Like it's and I don't think that holds water. I can't stand that when they say, well, if this one, well, you know, a black person said it was okay. Well, I don't care what he thinks. Like, I have an opinion about that, and so can you have an opinion about that? So just because one black person said, okay, you can call me the N-word, that means everyone could call everyone the N-word because one black guy said it? No, I don't think so. Like, you know, we all are entitled to our own opinions. I remember in 2008 when Bill Clinton and Hillary playing good cop, bad cop, and then they both started playing bad cop at the same time because shit wasn't working. And it was like, well, I got to stay in it because something can happen.
Yeah.
I remember that. I was like, what the hell? She's talking about getting this guy killed. And then when Trump makes a joke similar, she goes, oh, we're offended. This is beyond. We need to stop everything. And I'm just watching Democrats have amnesia. Like you said, they just have amnesia. But no, brother, I don't care what Obama gave her a pass at. I understand he had to do something, or she would have burnt down the Democratic Party, because we see the DNC is owned lock, stock, and barrel by Hillary Clinton. So he had to make a concession like, look, well, she will derail everything. The DNC, I'll be fighting amongst Democrats the whole time I'm in office because she's that powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why she got Secretary of State.
And I have to ask you, I mean, last couple minutes, you know I love you,
yeah,
Sean.
No doubt,
I love
no
you,
doubt, brother. Yeah, no doubt.
You know, there's a Washington Post columnist named Jonathan Capehart.
Oh, this is so...
so
this guy, man.
And so
he wrote an article, man.
He wrote an article, Jill Stein's foul language, okay? And it wasn't even Jill Stein's language. It was John Mubaraka said something about Obama.
Oh, he called him Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
He called him, but you know, he's not an Uncle Tom. Obama is not an Uncle Tom. He's a Sambo. Totally different thing.
Okay. He's a
sellout. He's a sellout. Look at the title of the show. Obama's a sellout. John Capehart is an Uncle Tom. No, he's a sellout too. I can't stand Capehart. I'm sorry to cut you off. It's just nothing he ever says.
My question to you is this. Do you think that Mr. Capehart is forgetting the racism that Clinton used against President Obama. And then because of the structural issues, because, Washington Post, definitely, the status quo publication, a PR publication for the status quo, you're attacking Jill Stein for something Ajamu Baraka said, but then Clinton did way worse because she actually did use racism against a black man.
Right.
And
you're attacking a black man for saying something to a black man. Right. Just to make sense.
And then you're silent when a white person actually does use racism against the first black president. And like you said, hey, Robert Kennedy got to stay.
There it is.
All those things. So I just think that's what they did to Bernie, they're doing to Jill.
Right.
And, thank goodness we have Tim Black and we have a whole bunch. I mean, this kind of progressive movement is growing. It's really growing in force. And like you said, it's only the beginning. I mean, Bernie Sanders started this fire, this spark. Now we got Jill Stein.
Yeah, we do.
Now you're doing the Canova-thon. Now we got Jordan Sheridan, Mike Figueredo, Debbie Lusignan, Ben Dixon, a whole bunch of people just growing. Tim, what can I tell you, man? I hit like 27,000 people on my YouTube.
Yeah, man. We need to get up to 35, 45, 75, 105,000. That's what we need to do, man. We need to keep working and keep digging in so we can get it done, brother. But I don't know, man. Look, man, no sellouts. I don't know what to tell them, man. We'll be back next week. I mean, is there any parting words? Is there anything else we could say about?
I look forward as the parting words.
That's it.
November 8th, 2016 is the election. The weeks before the election, the intensity of everything is just going to be like insane. And I can't wait every Monday to go ahead and just basically talk to you about it and just talk about the insanity, because it's already insane.
We're killing it.
I can't even imagine how it can get crazier, but it probably will.
Amazing. Hey, look, man. No doubt, man. Thank you, brother, for being here, man. I appreciate you, and I'll see you again next Monday, man.
Awesome. Next Monday.
You know it, man. Give it up for H.A. Goodman, guys.
Thanks, Tim.
You know it, brother. Wow, what a show. Look, guys, look. I can't stand Cape Hart. Charles Blow either. Like, these guys, it's like they're always trying to cover for the establishment. Always for the establishment. Always. And I don't make excuses for you. So I won't do it. I won't make excuses for Rachel Maddow, Chris Hayes. I'm not making excuses for you guys either. But I'll say this, man. Tim Canova for the win. Tim Canova for the win. I want to give a shout out once again to everybody who tuned into the show over the weekend. It was a special show, a Tim Canova-thon. We did this for Tim Canova, and I believe that he is a progressive that we have to get behind. So hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to bring you some good news, and then I can go down to Florida, see Tim Canova, see the staff that help get it done, and we can just look forward to going to that general, That's it. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm at a loss of words, man. I'm at a loss of words. Well, I will tell you this, guys. Tomorrow is a big deal. All right? It's a big deal because, once again, they said we couldn't do it, but we did it. Tomorrow's special guest on the Tim Black at Night show is none other than Vice Presidential running mate for the Green Party, Ajamu Baraka. He will be joining us right here on the Tim Black at Night show. That's right. So this is a big deal. We are doing it. And you know why we're getting it done? We're getting it done because of you. We're getting it done because of H.A. Goodman, because of all the people that have come to the show. Lee Cam, Jordan Sheridan, Jimmy Dore in spirit. I still love you, Jimmy. I'll have you on the show at some point. Maybe we'll, do something else. But all the great progressive, Portia Boger, Claudia Stauber, Misty Plowright running in Colorado, getting it done in the 5th District. All my, Anoa Changa, Ben Dixon will hook back up. I mean, we are getting some stuff done, and we're making some noise. And it's a big deal. So do me a favor, guys. Be here tomorrow. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to timblacktv.com. That's one way you know you can get it. You can get all of our shows streamed there. All right. Remember, don't sell out. And like I always say, don't you let nobody take your cornbread. I'm Tim Black. It's been a great show. Thank you, H.A. Goodman, for being here. And we'll do this again tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in to No Sellouts every Monday. That's every Monday. Did we hit everything? Only thing we left out was Hillary's health. Well, I'll just say this. Like I told my guy Arthur Delaney on the Huffington Post podcast, Hillary's alive and well. It's those people who don't side with her who aren't. Peace.